Today we're talking about 5 reasons to revisit landscape photography locations. Do you like revisiting landscape photography locations? Don't get me wrong, I like visiting locations that are new to me as well, but I think revisiting locations you've been to before as a landscape photographer will really help improve your photography over time as you refine those compositions. So I'm out here again on my second trip to the Lost Dutchman State Park. On the first trip back in August, I think I came out here 5 or 6 different times to photograph the park, and I came away with several different images, some of the same images, but I think it was a really great experience getting out there, and I'm going to dive into some of the reasons why in a little bit. I'm out here on a second trip out to Arizona, and this is my second trip out to the state park. Yesterday I was out, it was more of a hike, came out with some friends, and we did some hiking, less photography focused. Today I'm trying to get up to that big rock up there because I saw some interesting compositions. I think as the sun goes down a little bit more will be interesting. So I thought this trip out to the park would be a good reason to talk about my 5 reasons I think revisiting landscape photography locations is worthwhile. So my first reason for revisiting a landscape photography location is because I find when I visit a new location, I easily get overwhelmed with the whole place. Take this place, for example, Lost Dutchman State Park. When I first visited, just this huge prominent cliff face, and it's just really awesome looking. You throw in the fact I'm from the Midwest, Ohio, and we don't have terrain that looks anything like this all around. You know, I become fixated on this, and there's all sorts of photographic opportunities around here, as well as just exploring this. I mean, right here we're sort of dead on, but there's trails over to that direction, and there's trails over to that direction, and by revisiting, I'm able to explore those different trails, find foreground elements that are interesting. So I really find revisiting helps me sort of work through that being overwhelmed, and sort of get past that and become more in tune with the location, which over time improves my photography at that spot. So that's tip number 1. I think revisiting helps you work through that feeling of being overwhelmed when you get to a new location and helps improve your photography. So the number 2 is that you start to see different compositions because that feeling of overwhelm sort of fades, and just simply having more time to explore, more times to try different trails, different angles, different foregrounds, your compositions start to get improved and you start to see the little details. For example, when I first got here, I photographed the big cliff face that I showed you earlier. Tonight, I'm heading to this big rock up here, which I went to last night, and there's just a couple interesting compositions. I sort of got a cool iPhone shot last night. Over here in the distance, the sun, as the sunset, starts to hit these rocks differently. So you start to see things other than this big cliff face that make interesting images. You can use your telephoto lens and sort of zoom in. So again, tip number 2, when you revisit a location, you have more time, your eye gets more in tune, and you can choose more interesting compositions along the way. Okay, with that said, that was 2 tips. I got 3 more to go, and I gotta get up to that rock. So we're gonna hike sort of quick, get a little closer to the rock, because I really wanna be up there to sort of photograph down here. So I'm gonna get a move on. So number 3, changing light. On my first trip here, like I said, I was out here 5, 6 times, something like that, and every single night the light was different. It hit different, it had different hues, different tones, the clouds were different. The light changed. The light changes based on sunrise, sunset, midday, bright sun, sort of like today, or midday, overcast. The light can change between every single visit, giving you completely different pictures. Because of that changing light, it can take one composition that you shot on your previous trip and make it look different on this trip. So those revisits, you're gonna get different light, which is gonna give you different images and work different ways in different places. And really learning an area by revisiting it helps you know where to go depending on what the light is that day. If it's sharp and contrasty, you might have a certain area you wanna go. If it's overcast, you might wanna go show off another area. And you might know a spot photographs better at sunrise or sunset. So number 3, changing light. Revisiting lets you see the light change and lets you get different shots. Okay, number 4, changing seasons. You can go to the same location in different seasons to get completely different views. Using this place as an example and sticking to it. So when I was here in August, it was monsoon season. I had clouds over the cliff walls here most nights and got some really great pictures. It did get some monsoon pictures and clouds on some of the distant peaks to get some different looks. Now I'm out here in October, moving into the fall, much clearer skies, blue skies. And again, because I've been spending time out here, even though there's blue skies behind the cliffs, I've got other compositions in mind. Last night when I was checking things out, they got some cool light that happens over here. So changing seasons, revisiting locations lets you get different pictures of the location in the different seasons and get some variety to your portfolio. So great way. Number 4, changing seasons, revisiting locations helps you capture those. Okay, tip number 5, patience and perseverance. We all know as landscape photographers, the conditions don't always cooperate. Sometimes we go out and we get rain when we don't want it, we get sun when we don't want it, it's the wrong level of cloudiness, and the shot just doesn't always happen that you had in mind. Patience and perseverance. Part of revisiting a landscape photography location is an example of patience and perseverance. Perseverance, keep trying, going for those conditions. There's certain places in West Virginia I've shot 10, 12 times. I'm still waiting for the shot that I'm 100% satisfied with, but I keep going because I'm patient. So patience and perseverance, those are traits that sort of go into revisiting locations with landscape photography, because you don't always get that shot on the first try. You know, out here, one of the days I came out, it was just a blah, overcast day, nothing really looked great. Came back later that evening, clouds cooperated, sunset looked good, and everything went well. So patience and perseverance, number 5 for why you should revisit landscape photography locations. Some photographers might say there's a little bit of luck in it, but I really think it's just about revisiting locations, being patient, watching the changing light, taking advantage of conditions, and just getting out there and doing a little bit of hard work. Helps make that luck come a little easier, and that's why I think revisiting landscape photography locations is important. So what do you think? Do you like to revisit locations, or you just really only prefer to visit new ones? Let me know down in the comments below what you think about revisiting locations. I'd like to hear it. Okay, I'm gonna get on with some of my photography. The sun's just about right where I want it. I'm gonna sort of play around, get some of the shots I want, try a few things out. We'll see what works, what doesn't. But if you found today's video useful, be sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see future landscape photography content from me, including tips, tricks, behind the scenes, mini gear reviews, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any landscape photography content from me. And thank you for watching.